The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Robert Tan. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian shares mostly fell this Friday as investors lock in profits ahead of a high-stakes week packed with major economic events. Market brace for U.S. President Donald Trump's August 1 tariff deadline, a Federal Reserve policy meeting, the latest U.S. payrolls report, and earnings from tech giants Amazon, Apple, Meta, and Microsoft. In Asia, the Bank of Japan prepares to announce its policy decision on Thursday. This is the same day Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's Liberal Democratic Party holds a key meeting amid reports that he may step down. South Korea's Kospi is in the green while the rest are currently in a negative territory. And in the currency markets, the US dollar appreciates against the Japanese yen, Singapore dollar, South Korean won, and Thai baht. Australian dollar, on the other hand, depreciates against the greenback, but the US dollar is flat against the Hong Kong dollar. In commodities, gold prices are down by 0.3%, while all markets are up. In the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin and Ethereum are down by more than 3%. President Bongbong Marcos led the launch of state insurer PhilHealth's Yaman ng Kalusugan program, or YAKAP, at the Gateway Mall in Quezon City on Friday. It's an expanded package of accessible health services. Marcos said the revitalized primary care benefit package would bring healthcare services closer to Filipinos without the need to go to big hospitals. Filipinos may avail of 13 laboratory tests and 6 cancer screening tests, including mammogram. Medicines covered by PhilHealth have also been increased from 54 to 75.
Dahil kailangan ibaba ang healthcare natin na hindi lamang sa malalaking ospital, kung hindi sa mga maliliit na mga clinic, maliliit. Ang tawag natin dati, RHU, yung Rural Health Unit. Ngunit hindi talaga masyadong nalalagyan ng doktor at saka ng nurse at saka midwife yung mga RHU natin. Kaya hindi natuloy yung programang yun na mabuti. Kaya ito ngayon ang aming ginagawa. Dahil ang karamihan, siguro mga 80-85% ng reklamo ng may nararamdaman ay simple lamang, hindi naman komplikado. Matitignan lang ng doktor, mabibigyan lang ng gamot, sasabihan magpahinga ka ng konti bago ka papasok ulit. Kayang-kaya yun sa hindi kailangan pumunta pa sa regional hospital, sa tertiary care hospital, sa provincial hospital, kaya naman dun sa mas maliliit.
The United States is getting ready to give new permissions to companies that work with Venezuela's state-run oil company, PDVSA. 5 sources familiar with the matter say this means American companies, starting with Chevron, can slowly restart business in Venezuela. This also marks a major shift in U.S. policy, potentially enabling Chevron and others to pay contractors and engage in oil for services swaps. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro congratulated Chevron and encouraged more American investors to explore opportunities in Venezuela's oil and gas sector. This comes after a recent prisoner swap between the United States and Venezuela, which has helped ease diplomatic tensions.
Me parece muy bien.
There are already working groups for Chevron to resume its functions. I congratulate them, it seems very good to me. Chevron has been in Venezuela for 102 years, and I want them to have 100 more years of peaceful work. Every investor from the United States who wants to work with serious people of their word on the basis of legality, come to Venezuela. Venezuela is the paradise of investments for oil, gas, petrochemicals, and hydrocarbons. Welcome whenever and however you want.
The on-again, off-again relationship between U.S. President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk takes another twist. In a social media post, Trump said he is not out to destroy the companies of Musk, and on the contrary, he wants them to thrive. The statement follows Musk's warning to Tesla investors on Wednesday that U.S. government cuts in support for electric vehicle makers could lead to rough sailing for the company. Musk spent more than $250 million to help Trump win November's presidential election, but they clashed when Musk strongly opposed the president's tax cut and spending bill. Elon Musk's satellite internet company Starlink is experiencing a network outage. Service was down for thousands of users. In a post on his X account, Musk said the service will be restored soon as they work on solving the root cause of the outage. An expert says Starlink did not have an outage like this in a long time. U.S. equity firm Cerberus Global Investment is eyeing another 10 to 15 billion pesos worth of investments in the Philippines. Presidential Economic Advisor Frederick Goss said the U.S. firm made the disclosure on the sidelines of President Marcos's 3-day visit to the U.S. earlier this week. The firm also announced its plan to start operating the Subic shipyard previously owned by South Korean firm Hyundai. A portion of the shipyard is being used by the Philippine Navy as an operating base. We're taking a short break. More business stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. The Philippine government is under fire for what critics call a bad tariff deal with the U.S. Ibon Foundation says Manila got the worst deal among Asian countries. Sujin Kim has the story. Go ahead, Sujin.
Ibon Foundation slams the Philippines' U.S. tariff deal, calling it the worst outcome among ASEAN countries.
The Philippines, with its 2 percentage point increase, is actually the poorest negotiating country among ASEAN.
Despite a high-profile meeting between President Marcos and U.S. President Donald Trump, the Philippines emerged with a 2 percentage point tariff increase, while Vietnam negotiated a 26-point cut. Ibon warned that the agreement could cost the country up to 3 billion pesos in revenue losses from reduced tariffs on select imports, including automobiles, wheat, soy, and pharmaceuticals. Beyond numbers, Ibon criticized the administration for failing to deliver a coherent industrial strategy, relying instead on pilot programs and foreign investors to address structural issues such as hunger, unemployment, and stagnant local production. The think tank argued that the government's approach remains fragmented and tokenistic, and that without serious agrarian reform, strong domestic industrialization, and universal social services, growth will remain exclusive and unsustainable. Malacanang countered the criticisms, stressing that the Philippines did not concede sensitive sectors under the deal. Rice, corn, sugar, chicken, pork, and fish remain fully protected under existing tariff structures. Officials also defended the inclusion of pharmaceuticals and feed inputs, noting that lower tariffs could reduce domestic prices for medicine, bread, livestock, and fish products. The palace highlighted over $21 billion in investment pledges, including new infrastructure, energy, and healthcare projects, as well as $15 million in funding for the Luzon Economic Corridor and $48 million in foreign-assisted development initiatives. As SONA 2025 nears, the administration touts these gains as signs of strength, but Ibon warns that without acknowledging the roots of economic distress, no amount of foreign capital or diplomatic posturing will deliver lasting progress. And those are latest updates from Quezon City.
Thank you for that report, Sujin Kim. Meanwhile, commuters can now pay for their MRT3 rides using GCash, debit, or credit cards starting today. This comes as the Department of Transportation, together with other government agencies and private partners, launches a new cashless payment system. The move is in line with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s push for seamless and digitalized public services. Riders can now just tap their GCash, QR code, NFC-enabled Android phone, or bank card to pay with no extra charges, just the standard fare. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon assures commuters that the fare remains the same as a single journey ticket.
Few weeks, tinutulungan na tayo ng GCash at ng RCBC. Pero tingin ko, makakapag-launch na rin tayo sa LRT 1 and 2 very soon.
Sure, so far. The Health Department orders a 60-day price freeze on 150 essential medicines to protect consumers in storm-hit areas. The move comes after a state of calamity was declared in dozens of provinces. The price-capped medicines include anesthetics, and anti-asthma drugs, cardiac medications, insulin, vitamins, and other critical supplies. The DOH has also reported cases of minor illnesses among evacuees, prompting heightened health monitoring across shelters. We're taking a short break. Look at how Philippine stocks did today. Coming up next, you're watching Business Brief. Thailand and Cambodia exchanged fire along their disputed border for a second day on Friday. About 100,000 residents have been displaced. 14 people have been killed so far in Thailand, according to its Ministry of Public Health. At least one person has been killed in Cambodia. Tensions between the two countries have been rising over the disputed border. The latest flare-up came after 5 Thai soldiers were wounded in a landmine explosion on Wednesday. The Philippines is calling for calm and de-escalation between Thailand and Cambodia following a deadly border clash. At least 15 people were killed in the recent military conflict along the Thailand-Cambodia border. While the Philippines remains neutral in the dispute, the Department of Foreign Affairs stresses the need for open communication and peaceful resolution to avoid further violence. So far, no Filipinos have been reported hurt. DFA says it continues to monitor the situation and is ready to assist Filipinos in both countries if needed. U.S. President Donald Trump gets schooled by Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell during a tour of Fed's headquarters. While inspecting renovations at the Federal Reserve building, Trump claimed costs had ballooned from $2.5 billion to $3.5 billion. But Powell immediately pushed back, saying that wasn't accurate.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
That's our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
Trump has repeatedly criticized Powell for refusing to cut interest rates, putting the central bank chief back in the crosshairs. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission gives the green light to the merger between Paramount Global and Skydance Media. This clears the way for an $8.4 billion deal that brings together some of the biggest names in entertainment, including CBS, Paramount Pictures, and Nickelodeon. The FCC approved the transfer of broadcast licenses for 28 CBS-owned stations to the new owners. This comes just after Paramount paid $60 million to settle a lawsuit filed by President Donald Trump over a 60 Minutes interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris that aired in October. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr clarified that the agency's merger review was not tied to the civil case. Philippine shares fall for the second straight day ahead of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation address. The PSE index ended lower by nearly 0.5% to close at 64.13, finishing the day as the 8th worst performer in Asia. Among the sectoral indices, only holding firms ended in the green, with property falling the most at more than 1%. Decliners outpaced advancers at 112 to 93. Total value turnover reached 6.9 billion pesos. Week on week, the PSEI rose by nearly 2%. The day's most active stocks ended mixed, with Ayala Land falling the most at nearly 3%. Philippine National Bank rose the most at almost 4%. Meanwhile, at the foreign exchange market, the peso is currently trading at 56.86 against the greenback, depreciating from the previous close of 56.65. And that's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Robert San. Join us again on Monday as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News channel. See you then.